Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel Pigskin Addicts, back again with another video. So I wanted to jump right into this topic. What do the 2022 Chargers need to learn from the 2021 Chargers? 2021 Chargers, they pretty much had a playoff spot solidified, right? They were in a similar position as the 2022 Chargers. Now, what ended up happening? Chargers did not end up making the playoffs. They ended up losing on a last-second field goal last game of the season, week 18 in Vegas. Now, that obviously was a painful loss. Now, there's a lot to learn from that. And I think this iteration of the Chargers, 2022 Chargers, they should really be looking back and trying to avoid this same situation. They should absolutely do everything in their power to avoid the same situation. So going into week 15 of the 2021 NFL season, the Chargers sat at 8-5. They were just coming off of a pretty thorough beating of the New York Giants at home. That was the game where Justin Herbert made that crazy throw to Jalen Guyton, about a 60-yard touchdown. That was a very big win, and the Chargers were pretty much riding high. Now, from that point on, the Chargers went on to lose 3 of the next 4 games. The biggest loss in that, in my opinion, was the loss to the Houston Texans, right? The lowly Houston Texans, the Texans who were tanking, and the Texans who really did not have any business really competing with a 2021 Charger team. They gave up 41 points to that Texan team, and the Texans beat them very thoroughly. That was the start, pretty much the start of the Chargers shitting the bed, for a lack of better words. That's when it started, and it continued to snowball. Now, I think the 2022 Chargers they absolutely need to stay focused, right? All the playoff talk, all the playoff chatter, all of the playoff predictions, all of the pontifications by all of everybody in the media, they need to completely ignore it, and they need to stay focused on one goal, right? And the one goal is winning. Winning every single week, having a week-to-week approach. Now, obviously, there's a lot of pressure on the Chargers to win, right? Justin Herbert is one of the best young quarterbacks in the league. He needs to be in the playoffs. I'm sure the NFL wants him in the playoffs, but the Chargers, they have to do enough to make the playoffs. And this is a team sport. The NFL is a team sport. It's the ultimate team sport. 53 guys in that locker room. Everybody has to contribute and do their job. Defense has to continue to play well, and the offense has to come around and really show what they can do. Made several videos on Joe Lombardi, the offense, and how much they have underachieved this year, right? They can really turn things around if they put a stretch of 3 games together where they go out, they score a lot of points, they convert on third downs, and they go out and put a lot of pressure on defenses. They can really do that if they focus and if they are completely locked in and 100% bought in on team success. Now, week 18, I think, is the king of all trap games, right? Now, as a Charger fan, just my fandom speaking, I hope that it doesn't come down to a Week 18 matchup. I hope that a Charger playoff berth is locked up. I hope it's cemented by that time, but you never know. Crazy things happen in the NFL, and it's up to the Chargers to continue winning in order for them to solidify their playoff spot. But Week 18 is a trap game. Now, it is a game at Denver. We know what Denver has been this year. Denver has underachieved. They have looked very inept on offense. Their defense has really been the bright spot, pretty much the only bright spot on that team. Russell Wilson, Hackett, those guys have really underachieved. And to be honest with you, I really don't think that they are going to stick around long, either of them. But the one thing that can really cheer them up is knocking one of their AFC West rivals out of the playoffs. And I think they can really end their season on a high note and, potentially parlay that into some momentum in the offseason going into the 2023 season. So the Chargers got to be careful, man. They got to be careful. That's the only thing that I can say. They must be careful. The game coming up against Indianapolis is a game that the Chargers absolutely must win. All of these games are must win from here on out. They have to take this seriously. They are not playing a great slate of teams, but they are playing NFL teams. They are playing professionals. They're playing guys who want to put good tape out there. They're playing guys who are playing for their NFL careers next year and in the foreseeable future. So they have to go out there. They have to take it seriously. Nobody's going to lay down for them. They have to go out, they have to execute, they have to beat all of these teams that they should beat. We can sit here and we can forecast who they're going to beat and just by how much, but it's never a sure thing until that clock hits zero. So the Chargers have to go out there and they have to perform against teams that are not as good as them. The big worry here is the Chargers playing down to competition. And that has been something that is not really exclusive to any one team. There are teams that do that, a bunch in a lot of different sports. And it happens in the NFL all the time. So that is a big, big chief concern with me. And I think a lot of Charger fans, right? You don't want to play down to the level of competition. You want to go out there, you want to handle your business, and you want to get out of there with the win and preserve your playoff standing. So that is a big, big, big thing that the Chargers must do. They have to learn from what happened last year. You guys see the thumbnail. I use that thumbnail. That was Justin Herbert walking off the field in week 18, right? He left everything out on the field. He played fantastic. He was, pretty much the big reason why the Chargers were even in that game. Things started off very bad, but they were able to crawl back into it. But ultimately, they didn't get the job done, right? The Chargers had the 5th-ranked offense in the league last year, and guess what? They didn't make the playoffs. Style points don't matter. This is a win-loss league. This is a good or bad league. That's really all it boils down to, right? Things are in black and white. You win, you go. You lose, you stay home. And that's really what it boils down to. The Chargers must do the little things to win. They must be detail-oriented going into these next 3 weeks. And they ultimately have to put these teams away, build momentum, and then hope that they get a favorable matchup in the playoffs. But if they are able to clinch a playoff spot, it really doesn't matter who they play. They will be playing a good team. That much we do know at this point right now. They will be playing a good team, so they're going to have to be even better going into the playoffs. But again, that is not in stone yet. That has not been set. So I think the Chargers, they got to look at this from a week-to-week basis. They have to be locked in, be absolutely locked in. You're not making any playoff plans right now because it's not in stone. You got to lock it in. And if they're able to do that, I think they do make the playoffs. In the unlikely event that the Chargers don't make the playoffs, I think that this thing with Brandon Staley is over. I don't think Brandon Staley, I don't think any coach out there in the NFL right now can survive two consecutive late season collapses. I honestly don't. We know how much the Spanos family, likes to penny pinch and save money. But even with them, I don't think 2 late season collapses is going to fly. I think Brandon Staley would end up, coaching somewhere else or, ultimately staying home and being unemployed. I don't think he would be able to survive 2 late season collapses in a row. It just doesn't happen. You don't see it really happen around the NFL, even with bad organizations, even with, poorly run organizations. They tend to fire coaches that have late season collapses, let alone 2 of them in a row. So I think Brandon Staley, I think he's coaching for his job right now. He has to make the playoffs. There really is no other alternative. The Chargers have got through most of the injuries. They are going to get some players back. Joey Bosa is supposed to come back. There's a chance that Rashawn Slater can come back. So the Chargers can and probably will get some reinforcements going down the stretch here, but they're going to have to take care of business. They're ultimately going to have to take care of business. And again, this is a black and white league. This is a win and loss league. You win, you go. You lose, you stay home. That's pretty much how you can chalk it up. They have to get the job done. If they don't get the job done, there's going to be a lot of change afoot. And, you can expect to see that very, very quickly if it doesn't happen. But as we sit right here, I'm pretty confident that the Chargers can get the job done. But again, they're going to have to go out there and prove it. Nobody's going to lay down for them. And hopefully this team learned something from the 2021 team. That 2021 team had a very, very hard lesson to learn at the end of the year. Very, very painful going, over it for 6 months and then coming back into training camp and, trying to get that nasty taste out of your mouth. I'm sure that was something that, a lot of the guys, didn't want to do, but, it is what it is, right? This is the NFL. It's a win or loss league, and you got to be on the right side of the ball. So I got for this video, guys. I just wanted to come on here and, really put it out there that I hope the Chargers have learned something from their failures last year. Any man who does not learn from his failures is destined to fail again. So they must learn from it, move on, and, hopefully they have some success in front of them, not only in the regular season but in the playoffs. And as a fan, that's really all I can hope for. But that is all I got for this video. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Really appreciate it. Shout out to all my new subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing, and don't forget to smash that like button on your way out as well too. I'll be back again tomorrow with more content, and until next time.